أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والفجر وليال عشر والشفع والوتر والليل إذا يسر هل في ذلك قسم لذي حجر ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بعاد إرم ذات العماد التي لم يخلق مثلها في البلاد وثمود الذين جابوا الصخر بالواد وفرعون ذي الأوتاد الذين طغوا في البلاد فأكثروا فيها الفساد فصب عليهم ربك سوط عذاب إن ربك لبالمرصاد فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه فيقول ربي أكرمن وأما إذا ما ابتلاه فقدر عليه رزقه فيقول ربي أهانن كلا بل لا تكرمون اليتيم ولا تحاضون على طعام المسكين وتأكلون التراث أكلا لما وتحبون المال حبا جما كلا إذا دكت الأرض دكا دكا وجاء ربك والملك صفا صفا وجيء يومئذ بجهنم يومئذ يتذكر الإنسان وأنى له الذكرى يقول يا ليتني قدمت لحياتي فيومئذ لا يعذب عذابه أحد ولا يوثق وثاقه أحد يا أيها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي صدق الله العلي العظيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. May Allah bless your hearts with the dhikr of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, with their happiness and sorrows. But I can't imagine what goes through the heart of our Imam of our time. So this is a short poem by the beloved poet Nouri Sardar, and he says, In Mahdi's Eyes is the title. We see in your eyes tears of blood you cry. O 12th Imam, we gaze into the eyes that we've adored, and we see illustrated pictures from which your tears have poured. Daily you recall the broken rib, poison, arrows, and sword. Your eyes bear such a weight that blood from your veins it had lured. Daily you're taunted by tales haunted. Your grief has left a road to history which we follow. We see upon a woman's grief left a house of sorrow. She mourns her father, a river of tears. She mourns her father, a river of tears draws her shadow, a withered rose, when once in her father's hand she would grow. She cries and laments sorrowful moments. I wonder, I wonder what picture would make blood from your I wonder what picture would make blood from your two eyes pour. Could it be seeing daily the attack on your mother? The witnesses to this, O Mahdi, the witnesses to this, O Mahdi, in your eyes are four. The mother and the crushed infant between the wall and the door, a distressed, endless, daily you witness. Beyond what you see daily, O Mahdi, you hear thunder, the sound of the strike of the sword on the head, O Haydar. The sound of the strike of the sword on the head of Haydar, the deafening call, Islam's pillars are destroyed, you hear. You tell this voice, your heart demolishes with each pillar crushes, your veiling is hushed. I watch the blood that trickles from the torment of your eyes and see that for a forgotten uncle, your eye it cries. Alone, abandoned, forgotten, and poisoned, Hasan dies. You remember him when your eyes, not a single hand dries. Weeps for you, Hasan, like you an orphan. While the tears of your eyes dry up and take from your bloodstream, into your hands, O last orphan, the tears of your mother stream. Layla veils over Ali Akbar in a harsh dream. Rabab burns out a candle crying out, O my Qasim. And Ramla veils swaying a cradle. You're thirsty for your lovers as the days like decades pass. The blood you have to cry, all the tragic tales surpass. You come to drink water and your hand shakes holding its glass. May Allah have His mercy upon my uncle Al-Abbas. You hear him daily, forgive me, Ali. I ask you, O grieving loner of the root of your pain, alone he lies, fallen, while none of his household remain. Your eyes behind the clouds cause tears of blood too. On him, rain they cry, this headless, trampled body belongs to Hussain. Upon your beloved, you cry tears of blood. Grief grips your body like poison, as if stories you've heard, and as if it's heard tales of Baqir, Sadiq, and Sajjad. Could it be that fate says you'll come, but go against its word? Just like it released Kadhim as a body in Baghdad, poisoned hearts wonder if you'll come over. Mahdi, you find yourself a stranger wherever you stand. You weep for Rida, killed as a stranger in a strange land. Could it be that age tortures you like tide eats away sand? You recall Jawad, poisoned in his youth by tyrants' hands. Millions ask where you reside. In 2 nights you faded. Where did you stand when the 2 Askari domes exploded? Mahdi, Ya Mahdi, what else could have your 1,000-year absence ended? Daily Baqirs cry out your names, begging to be mended. Even broken graves, your return they crave. I watch the sun rise daily, asking if you it will bring, and find the faith of your return weaved deep in my being. I thank Allah that Ahlul Bayt are my everything. I tell Him that for my last beloved, my eyes are still waiting. Bearing such a weight, your rise we await. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. May Allah give patience to the Imam, to the heart of the Imam. Again, we may be able to imagine these words, but the Imam has this clear vision of these tragedies of Ahlul Bayt. I'm going to request my beloved brother, Misam, inshallah, Murtajis? Misam, inshallah, to recite a few words of salam in the honor of Ahlul Bayt, alayhim as-salam. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala
सलवात ये फ़ज़ाइल के कुछ अशार। जो सोच रहा हूँ कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं है, जो सोच रहा हूँ कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं है, जो सोच रहा हूँ कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं है, ये फ़र्शे अज़ा अर्शे मुअल्ला तो नहीं है। जो सोच रहा हूँ कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं है, ये फ़र्शे अज़ा अर्शे मुअल्ला तो नहीं है। अल हश्र का सूरा तेरी मुसहफ़ में इलाही, अल हश्र का सूरा तेरी मुसहफ़ में इलाही, अब्बास अलमदार का हमला तो नहीं है, अब्बास अलमदार का हमला तो नहीं है। इसको तो हदीस किसा ही हिफ्ज़ नहीं है, इसको तो हदीस किसा ही हिफ्ज़ नहीं है, इसको तो हदीस किसा ही हिफ्ज़ नहीं है। ये हाफ़िज़ कुरान है लगता तो नहीं है, ये हाफ़िज़ कुरान है लगता तो नहीं है वही बलागत वही लहजा वही नुक्ता, है वही बलागत वही लहजा वही नुक्ता, है वही बलागत वही लहजा वही नुक्ता। कुरान तेरा नहजे बलागा तो नहीं है, कुरान तेरा नहजे बलागा तो नहीं है। जिब्रील यही पूछता फिरता है नजफ़ में, जिब्रील यही पूछता फिरता है नजफ़ में, जिब्रील यही पूछता फिरता है नजफ़ में। सिदरा से ये आगे का इलाका तो नहीं है, सिदरा से ये आगे का इलाका तो नहीं है। शागिर्द होना खिज़्र क्यों इस इल्म के दर का, शागिर्द होना खिज़्र क्यों इस इल्म के दर का, शागिर्द होना खिज़्र क्यों इस इल्म के दर का। ये मूसा काज़िम है ये मूसा तो नहीं है, ये मूसा काज़िम है ये मूसा तो नहीं है। दौराने मुसीबत भी है चेहरे पे तबस्सुम, दौराने मुसीबत भी है चेहरे पे तबस्सुम। असगर से अमीसम तेरा नाता तो नहीं है, असगर से अमीसम तेरा नाता तो नहीं है। ये मुसाहिब में आप सबकी नज़र के अली से बदले जो लेने थे कई बरसों के, अली से बदले जो लेने थे कई बरसों के, वो एक दिन में ही सारे चुकाए ज़ैनब ने, वो एक दिन में ही सारे चुकाए ज़ैनब ने। रिदा के साथ भी जाना जहाँ से मुश्किल था, रिदा के साथ भी जाना जहाँ से मुश्किल था, वहाँ पे बेरिदा खुतबे सुनाए ज़ैनब ने, वहाँ पे बेरिदा खुतबे सुनाए ज़ैनब ने। सल्लल्लाहु
MashaAllah, Jazakumullah. May Allah fill your hearts with the love of Sayyida Zainab alayhi salam, and walk that path that Sayyida walked in practice, inshallah, for the rest of our lives. My brother Sayyid Raza will recite, and team, inshallah, will recite again words of honor and in the form of mercy, inshallah. Mercy. Ya Rab. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.
बराए खुशनूदी इमाम ज़माना बुलंदतर सलवात। बीबी सकीना के हाल का सलाम आपकी नज़र। शाम की औरतों एक वादा करो, शाम की औरतों एक वादा करो, रोज कब्रे सकीना पे आओगी तुम। शाम की औरतों एक वादा करो, जब तलक लौट कर मैं न आऊं, जब तलक लौट कर मैं न आऊं, आके शम्मा जलाओगी तुम। शाम की औरतों एक वादा करो, सूरते शाहिदी बेकफन भी मेरे जैसी असीरे महल भी, खाली कुर्ते में मदफून गुर्बत, मिसले असगर रही बेकफन भी। क्या कफन की तरह रोज चादर इस लहद पर चढ़ाओगी तुम। शाम की औरतों एक वादा करो, एक यसरब की थी शाहज़ादी, उसका सक़ा था अब्बास गाज़ी, मश्क लेकर गया सूए दरिया, और कब्ज़े में कर ली तराई। लोरियों में ये सच्ची कहानी, रोज इसको सुनाओगी तुम। शाम की औरतों एक वादा करो, हमने जिंदा से पाई रिहाई, अब बहन पास होगी न भाई। बात इतनी सी बस याद रखना, मेरी बच्ची है गम की सताई। तुमने बाजार में तो सताया, अब न इसको सताओगी तुम। शाम की औरतों एक वादा करो, जब कभी कैद खाने में आना, बेरदा बीबियों को न लाना, तुमको असगर भी देगा दुआएं, इसकी तन्हाइयाँ यूं मिटाना। छोटे छोटे से बच्चों को लाकर पास इसके सुलाओगी तुम। शाम की औरतों एक वादा करो, कब्र बेकस पे आंसू बहाने, हाल कैदे सितम का सुनाने, काफिला करबला को चला है, इसके बाबा का चहलो मनाने। इतना कह दो हमारी तरफ से, इसका चहलो मनाओगी तुम, शाम की औरतों एक वादा करो, शामियों की बहू बेटियों से कह रही थी वो अकबर ये रोके, ये अमानत है परदेसियों की, कर रही हूँ तुम्हारे हवाले, मुझसे एक बार बस इतना कह दो, अपना वादा निभाओगी तुम, शाम की औरतों एक वादा करो, रोज कब्रे सकीना पे आओगी तुम, शाम की औरतों एक वादा करो। बर मोहम्मद व आल मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु
May Allah bless you and your beautiful voices, Ya Allah. May Allah give you the ability to continue to move the hearts in the honor of Ahlul Bayt, Imam Hussain, Sayyid Zainab, and continue the walk towards Allah with the wasila of Ahlul Bayt. Salam ala al-Hussain wa ala Ali ibn al-Hussain wa ala awlad al-Hussain wa ala ashab al-Hussain. And as we say, Ya laytana kunna ma'akum fanafuza ma'akum. May Allah give us that insight, that basira, those opportunities for our mind, our self, to be aware of these opportunities that we have today, that we can be with the Imam of our time, and give us that strength to walk in the path of Ahlul Bayt, no matter how easy or difficult that is, inshallah, towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first and foremost. We are blessed with Syed Hasan away, all the way from home, all the way from his studies, blessed us this community. Student of Hawza and a scholar in our eyes, inshallah. Request his presence on this beautiful day, and he'll be, inshallah, with us for the Arbaeen walk right after this, inshallah. Syed Hasan Tabatabai, inshallah, will bless the member with a few words in the honor of Ahlul Bayt, alayhim salam. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا رسول الله صلى الله عليك وعلى أهل بيتك المظلومين المشردين عن الأوطان صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله وعلى ابنك الشهيد المظلوم المسموم علي بن موسى الرضا المرتضى ما خاب من تمسك بكم وأمنا من لجأ إليكم يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. Da'bil al-Khuzai narrates that he entered upon our eighth Imam, Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Rida alayhi salam, during days like these, the days where we mourn Abi Abdullah al-Hussain alayhi salam. He says, I saw the Imam sitting sad and depressed as his companions were around him. When he saw me, he greeted me and said, مرحبا بك يا دعبل مرحبا بناصرنا بيده ولسانه. Greetings, O Da'bil, greetings to he who supports us with his hands and tongue. Then he made space for me. He made me sit beside himself. Then he said, O Da'bil, recite poetry for Aba Abdullah. For these days are days of sadness for us, the Ahlul Bayt. These days are days of happiness for our enemies, especially Banu Umayyah. O Da'bil, whoever sheds a tear for what our enemies did to us, whoever sheds a tear upon hearing what our enemies did to us, shall be placed amongst our group in the day of judgment. O Da'bil, whoever cries upon hearing the tragedies that befell my grandfather Hussain, Allah will definitely forgive his sins. Then Da'bil says that Imam al-Rida salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayh, he stood, he brought his woman, he placed a curtain between us and his woman. He made them sit behind that curtain. Then he said, Ya Da'bil, irth al-Hussain. O Da'bil, recite and mourn Aba Abdullah al-Hussain. Surely you will always be our supporter and the one who praises us. Hence do not show any shortcoming in our support. Da'bil said when Imam al-Rida salawatullahi alayh said these words to me, he broke my heart. So I shed a tear and I recited the following poetry lines. فاطم لو خلت الحسين مجدلا وقد مات عطشانا بشط فراتي إذا لطمت الخد فاطم عنده وأجريت دمع العين في وجناتي. He addresses Fatima, Salamullahi alayha, saying, "Oh Fatima, if you were to see Abu Abdullah sleeping on the burning sand of Karbala, surely he has passed away thirsty, although he was right beside the Euphrates. If you saw him in that state, then you would have slapped your cheeks in mourning, and you would have shed tears on your cheeks." إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل بيت رسول الله أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. For the love of our Imam, صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Our eighth Imam, Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Ridha alayhi salam, was born on the 11th of Dhul Qa'dah, year 148 after Hijrah. This year is the same year that his grandfather, our sixth Imam, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, was martyred, according to some narrations. And our Imam was martyred, according to one narration, on the 17th of Safar, on a day like this. And on another narration, it says that he was martyred towards the end of Safar, on the 29th of Safar. And there is a third narration that mentions that Imam al-Ridha, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, was martyred on the 23rd of Dhul Qa'dah. The 23rd of Dhul Qa'dah. And there are some other narrations that mention otherwise. The time does not permit to mention and elaborate on each and every historical account that mentions the martyrdom date of our Imam. However, these three dates, the 17th of Safar and the 29th, or towards the end of Safar, and the 23rd of Dhul Qa'dah, are the most popular ones. Our great Imam, Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Ridha alayhi salam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. He spent his lifetime, just like the rest of the Imams of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, teaching, preaching, educating, spreading the knowledge of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam in the various specializations, in the various fields of knowledge, to the extent that we notice that most of the knowledge in the various fields of religion, the knowledge in the field of tafsir, in the field of aqidah, in the field of jurisprudence, fiqh, morals, ethics, history, so on and so forth, we tend to find most of the ahadith of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam in the various Islamic fields of knowledge. They come mainly from four of our great Imams: Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Ridha alayhi afdal al-salati was-salam. For their love, please recite aloud salawat. This was, of course, due to the circumstances that they lived in which it allowed them to propagate and preach the message of the Ahlul Bayt salawatullahi wa salamu alayhim more freely than the other Imams who were in a tighter situation, in a more difficult situation, where the grip of the government was always on them, and the spies, the eyes of the spies, were never ever left them. Our four Imams, Imam Ali, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, and Imam al-Rida, had more of freedom to be able to preach the message and manifest their knowledge, which allowed the narrators to record their pearls of wisdom and pass it on to the generations, to the upcoming generations, till it reached to us today. Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Rida, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, was known as Alimi Ali Muhammad, the scholar of the progeny of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. And this title was given to him by his father, our seventh Imam, Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam, in a well-known hadith, where he said to his children, هذا أخوكم علي بن موسى عالم آل محمد. This is your brother, Ali ibn Musa. He is the scholar of the progeny of Ali Muhammad. سألوه عن أديانكم. Ask him about your faiths. واحفظوا ما يقول لكم. And memorize what he says to you. فإني سمعت أبي جعفر بن محمد عليه السلام يقول لي إن عالم آل محمد صلى الله عليه وآله لفي صلبك وليتني أدركته فإنه سمي أمير المؤمنين. My father, Ja'far, son of Muhammad, told me that Alimi Ali Muhammad is in your progeny, is in your loin. I wish that I can see him, for his name is the name of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, meaning his name will be Ali. Imam al-Rida salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi was known for his numerous dialogues and debates with scholars of various faiths and various religions. On various occasions, Al-Ma'mun, the Abbasid ruler at that time, he tried to force Imam al-Rida salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi into the arena of complex debates with scholars of various religions and various fields of knowledge, in order to see if the Imam might slip or might make a mistake or might fall for a fallacy or might lose a debate, so that he will be able to use his propaganda machine and his media machines to be able to tell the world that, look, this Imam of the Shia that they claim that he is ma'soom from God, he's the one who made such and such mistake. So he was just looking for one small mistake from the Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi in order to be able to propagate that issue and degrade the Imam of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalus salati wassalam. However, they plan, Allah plans, and Allah is the best of planners. They do not know that, or they might not be aware that those Imams, their knowledge is not a regular knowledge. Their knowledge is divine. Their knowledge is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these plots that they make will never work. It will actually turn against them. Once, Al-Ma'mun had asked the Catholic Archbishop, the High Rabbi, the leading Sabians, the Hindu High Priest, the followers of Zoroaster, Nestus, the Roman medical scientist, and a group of orators to enter into a scientific debate with Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Rida alayhi salam. He sent Yasir, the servant of Al-Ma'mun, to the Imam to inform him that he must be present in the debate on such and such date. When Yasir, the servant, left, and Nawfali, a companion of the Imam, was there in that meeting. So he turned to the Imam salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And he said, Ma'mun wants to test your knowledge. And Nawfali seemed to be worried. So the Imam told him, what did Ma'mun build for us? What did he do? What did he plan for us? Nawfali said he brought scholars of Kalam, innovators who are opposite to scholars. Scholars, they do not deny the undeniable. But those rhetoricians, those polytheists, they're people who try to deny anything, even though it is a fact. If you argue with them that God is one, they would say, prove his oneness. If you say that Muhammad is the last prophet, they say, prove his prophethood. Confirm his message. They would press their lies. And they would continue doing that until, they make the person fall into their fallacy or make a mistake. So beware of them, O Imam. Be careful of them. May my life be sacrificed to you. Now the Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi smiled. And he said, Oh Nawfali, do you fear that they will disapprove my argument? Seems that Nawfali, he was a great lover of the Ahlul Bayt salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. But as a human being, he was worried for his Imam, as if he did not realize that this Imam is Hujjatullahi ala khalqih. He's the proof of Allah upon his creation. So no scholar can stand in front of the Imam of the time. So Nawfali realized, he's like, no, by Allah, I do not fear. I've never worried about you, and I hope that Allah will give you the upper hand over all of them. The Imam said, Oh Nawfali, would you like to know when Al-Ma'mun would regret what he just did? Nawfali said, yes. How will Al-Ma'mun regret what he did? The Imam said, when he hears me argue with the people of Torah, quoting their Torah, and with the people of the Gospel, the Bible, quoting from their Gospel, from their Bible, and with the people of the Psalms, quoting their own Psalms, and with the Zoroastrians arguing in their own Persian language, and with the Romans arguing in their own Latin, and with the rhetoricians using their very own rhetoric. So if I closed all the avenues of arguments in the face of each and every arguing party and disapproved their claim, making them renounce their original statements, and then they refer to my own statement, then Al-Ma'mun would know that he would never be able to achieve what he aspires to achieve. It is then he will feel regretful. We all belong to Allah, and unto him we will return. So the Imam showed that he was taking this issue lightly. He was not concerned with all this, conference that Al-Ma'mun worked on and planned for months and invited people. And he didn't worry, the Imam, about their great numbers, the great numbers of scientists and scholars and worldwide scholars at that time, famous scholars, who were there in front of him. He was not worried at all. He was not worried about their arguments and so on and so forth. The Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, when the session started and he was invited to join in, the discussion started, the debate started with the Catholic Archbishop. Here, Imam al-Rida salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, in order to make the Christian scholar think and direct his thought to the correct result that the Imam wants him to reach, he, at the beginning, expressed a questionable statement. He presented a question regarding Prophet Jesus salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. Therefore, it led the Catholic Archbishop to understand the true value and status of Prophet Isa salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. What did the Imam say? The Imam said, I swear to Allah that we believe in the Jesus alayhi salam whom Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam believed in. We have no objection to Jesus except for something. What is our objection on Jesus? He is weak in praying. and he fasts very little in the day. The Archbishop was surprised. He's like, how? I thought you are a knowledgeable person. I thought you are a scholar, the most learned scholars of the Muslim. And you say this simple statement that even a simple person knows. The Imam said, how come? What did I say? Why do you say that? What did I just say? He said, you're saying that Jesus was weak and prayed very little and fasted very little, while not a day in Jesus' life that it went by and he wasn't spending it in prayer. And not a day that passed, he did not spend it in fasting. And every night he was known for his prolonged prayers. Jesus fasted every day and he stayed awake every night to offer salah. Imam Rida asked him a simple question. To whom was he praying? To whom was he praying? To whom did he fast and pray? The Archbishop remained silent. He could not answer. He could not say a thing. Imam Rida said, okay, I want to ask you a question. Now the Archbishop said, okay, if I know the answer, I will answer. If I don't know, I'm not forced to answer. He's like, okay, no problem. I'll give it to you. From the beginning, he's preparing himself to run away from the debate. Imam Rida said, why do you deny that Jesus, by Allah's permission, not on his own, revived the dead? We believe that he revived the dead as well, but by Allah's permission. So why do you deny that he revived the dead? By Allah's permission, not through a power on his own. Meaning that he was dependent on Allah in performing that miracle. He did not do that independently. The Archbishop said, I deny this because anyone who raises the dead and cures the blind and heals the leprous one is God, and he is deserving to be worshipped. Imam Rida salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi said, surely Al-Yasa', Prophet Al-Yasa', he performed similar acts to Jesus salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. He walked on water, he raised the dead, he healed the blind and the leprous ones, but his nation did not consider him God. They did not worship him. Prophet Ezekiel raised the dead like Jesus did too. He revived 35,000 people after being dead for 60 years. And the Imam is referencing the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, verses 1 to 10. If you open up the Bible, the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, verses 1 to 10, you will see that quote of the Imam that he used in the Bibles of today. The Christian scholar became silent. Now he proved two of Allah's prophets who did similar miracles as Jesus, and they're mentioned in the Bible, and these same miracles are mentioned in the Bible, but they do not worship these prophets. So the Imam asked him, why do you deny? He remained silent and could not say anything. Then the Imam turned to Rasil Jalut, who was very proud of his knowledge, a Jewish scholar who is proud of his knowledge. And the debate that the Imam went through was a very lengthy one. I will take a part of it due to the limitation of time. Imam said to him, what proof do you have that Musa was a prophet of God? Rasil Jalut said, well, he performed such miracles that all the past prophets were not able to perform. What did he perform? He split the Nile. He turned his staff into a snake. He burst forth 12 springs from a rock. He had a shining hand when he puts it in his pocket. Imam said, you are saying the truth. Your statement shows that any prophet who performs such miracles that others are unable to do, he is deserving to be a prophet. This is how we know a prophet from others. A prophet is a person who is able to do miracles, and one of the conditions of a miracle is that a regular human being is not able to do. Rasil Jalut said, without a doubt, that is right. The Imam said, then it is necessary that whoever shows such miracles must be accepted as a prophet. Ras al-Jalut said no. The Imam told him, why? Didn't you just agree? He said, well, in addition to those miracles that Musa alayhi salam has performed, he had such proximity to Allah that no other person had before him. Thus, until it is proven that one shows similar miracles, similar feats, and someone who's as close in proximity to God as Musa, then we cannot accept him as a prophet unless he shows all that. Imam said, all right, tell me, do you believe in any prophet before Musa alayhi salam? He said, yes, we do. He said, but how is that correct? Before him, no prophet has shown miracles similar to the miracles of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. No prophet has split the river. No prophet had turned the staff into a snake. No prophet had 12 springs gushing out from a piece of rock. No prophet had a shining hand. So, why do you accept them as prophets? Now, he began, questioning himself. He said, no, what I mean that if someone performs, he went back to the original statement. If someone performs miracles that people are unable to do, then such a person must be accepted as a prophet. He said, then why do you people not accept Isa alayhi salam as a prophet? Why don't you accept Jesus as a prophet of God? He has also raised the dead, those who were alive, dead. He brought them back to life. He healed the leprous. He healed the blind. He made a bird of clay and blew life into it. The rabbi said, well, we did not see him do anything of such sort. People claim that he did it. Imam said to him, did you see Musa with your own eyes doing these miracles? The rabbi was silent. He could not say anything. So, Ras al-Jalut is silent. The Imam continued. He said, in the same way that you should testify to the prophethood of Prophet Jesus alayhi salam, because he has received such miracles, and you have heard about it, just in the same way as you heard about the miracles of Musa, you have to also testify to the prophethood of Prophet Muhammad al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, because Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, because he also performed numerous miracles despite the fact that he was an orphan, a homeless shepherd, and a paid employee of someone else. He also did not learn a single letter from anyone, even though he brought a perfect book. And this book is the Holy Quran, a book that is perfect in all aspects, in aspect of eloquence, in its scientific, historical facts that it mentions, and in every single detail, every single word of the Quran that you see is perfect in its all sense. With all these incidents of the previous, which has all the incidents and all the stories of the previous prophets of God, that you yourself confirm its reality. And Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam never learned it from anyone. It was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who taught him all this. In addition to this, he used to tell about what runs in people's thoughts. He used to tell people what they are thinking of and what they had hidden in their own homes. Imam then gave him a proof from their book. He used a logical proof in the beginning. Now he is giving them a proof, a textual proof from their own books on the prophethood of Jesus and the prophethood of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. The Imam said, and he's quoting the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 2. The Lord showed his manifestation from Sinai and dawned over them from Sa'ir. He shone forth from Mount Paran. وتجلى ربك على طور سيناء وتجلى ربك على سعير وتجلى ربك على جبل فاران. This is verse 2 of chapter 33 of the book of Deuteronomy in the Bible. And it is still available in the Bible of today. So the Imam said to him, who did Allah send his manifestation on Sinai? Ras al-Jalut said, Musa alayhi salam. This is known. He said, then who did Allah send his manifestation on Syed? He said, I don't know. Imam said, this is Jesus alayhi salam. He is the only one who claimed prophethood in that specific area. And who is the one who Allah sent his manifestation on Mount Paran? Ras al-Jalut said, I don't know. Brothers and sisters, Mount Paran is a chain of mountains in Mecca. Amongst these mountains is Jabal al-Nur, the mountain of Nur, in which the cave of Hira, Ghar Hira, is in it. Inshallah, when we get the tawfiq to be in these sacred lands, we'll go up on the mountain of Nur and go and see Ghar Hira itself. The mountain of Nur is part of the chain of mountains that is called Mount Paran in Mecca. So the Imam said, Allah sent his manifestation on Mount Paran. This is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. For his love, recite aloud salawat. Abu Salt al-Harawi was one of the faithful companions of Imam Ali ibn Musa Rida alayhi salam. He used to speak to people. He said that Imam Rida salawatullahi wa salam alayhi used to speak to people in their own languages. So I asked him about it and said, how can you speak to people in their own languages? The Imam said, Ya Abu Salt, Ana hujjatullahi ala khalqih. I am the proof of Allah upon His creation. And Allah would not make or choose or appoint a proof on people, on a group of people, and He does not know their languages. Didn't you hear the words of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam when he said, Utina fasl al-khitab? We were given the decisive speech, fasl al-khitab, and isn't decisive speech but the knowledge of the languages? Shaykh al-Saduq, he narrates that Ma'mun one day asked Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. He told him, inform me of the greatest merit, the greatest fadila of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam that is in the Holy Quran. Imam al-Rida immediately said, فمن حاجك فيه من بعد ما جاءك من العلم فقل تعالوا ندعو أبناءنا وأبناءكم ونساءنا ونساءكم وأنفسنا وأنفسكم ثم نبتهل فنجعل لعنة الله على الكاذبين. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam invited Hasan and Hussain alayhim as-salam, and they were his sons. And he invited Fatima salawatullahi wa salamu alayha, and she represented the woman in this ayah. And he invited Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, and he is the one who represents the self of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. And it has been proven that there is no creation of Allah that is greater than Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. Rasulullah is the greatest of all creation. Therefore, the self, nafsun nabi, must also be the greatest of all the creations after him. And is there a greater fadila than being the greatest of all the creations, ya Ma'mun? So Ma'mun was silent. He thought to himself, he said, well, we can, debate or argue with regards to this ayah. What are your arguments, ya Ma'mun? He said, Allah said, Abna'ana. He used the plural form. But you're saying that the Rasul only invited 2. In Arabic, the plural form, if the plural form is used, it's used for a group of 3 or more. 3 or more. In English, the plural is 2 or more. But in Arabic, it has to be a group of 3 people or more. The Quran said, أبناءنا. It used it in the plural form, our sons. So there has to be 3 or more sons. While we notice that the Rasul only invited 2. And he said, nisa'ana, our woman. And he only invited 1 woman, who is Fatima al-Zahra, salamullahi alayha. And is it not possible that the Prophet invited himself? When he meant anfusana, just as he invited 2, for abna'ana, and he invited 1 for nisa'ana. Well, he invited himself. Why do you have to say it's Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam? The Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi said, what you're saying is wrong. Because when one invites, it's wrong literally for one to invite himself. We're not talking figurative language. We're talking literally. When you're inviting someone, I'm inviting myself for dinner at my own house. What does that mean? It doesn't make sense. When you're inviting, you have to be inviting someone else. You have to be inviting someone else. You have to be inviting someone else, others. Abna'ana abna'akum, it's clear. Hasan and Hussain are abna Rasulullah. Nisa'ana, it's clear. The only female in the group is Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra. What is the position of Amir al-Mu'mineen in that group? Other than anfusana. So, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, in reality, he has to invite someone. When you say invite, he has to invite someone. When you command, you don't say, I am commanding myself to do. You have to command others. So when you invite, when you command, you have to approach someone else, not your own self. We're talking literally, not figurative language and poetry. So, therefore, according to Allah in His book, the Quran, anfusana, the self of the Prophet, is none other than Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib, alayhi afdal al-salati wassalam. For his love, sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Al-Ma'mun saw the popularity of the Imam is on the rise. People were becoming attached to him. Al-Ma'mun noticed that he made a big mistake allowing Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Ridha salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi to be announced as his successor or his apparent heir or crown prince apparently. So now Al-Ma'mun, he regretted what he did. So he started thinking of how to get rid of our 8th Imam, Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Ridha, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. He does not want him to live any longer. The more he lives longer, the more people will be attached to the Imam. Now, the way they get rid of the Imams of Ali Muhammad, the way they get rid of them is so tragic, brothers and sisters. Al-Ma'mun, he came up to one of his companions and he said to him, I want you to hear this. I want you to hear this tragedy of Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Ridha alayhi salam. Imam al-Ridha salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi has many ahadith that talk about Imam al-Hussain. But do you know how they killed our Imam, Imam al-Ridha salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi? Ma'mun asked someone, look at the disgusting mannerism of these tyrant and oppressive rulers. In a narration, Abu Salt al-Harawi says that Abu Salt al-Harawi, who was one of the companions of Imam al-Ridha, said, I once went to the Imam. I saw that he is very sad. The Imam looked very tired. So I asked him, Ya Imam, you look tired. You look sad. The Imam said, Oh Abu Salt, I miss Medina. I miss the land of Rasulullah I miss the land of Medina. I miss my family in Medina. May Allah bless the soul of Muhammad al-Jawad alayhi salam. He's saying, I'm here all alone. I'm a stranger. I do not have any family around me. And this man, this tyrant ruler is torturing me. He's harassing me. And he is trying to humiliate me. But I am a rida. I am the one who is pleased with whatever Allah has given me. Do you know what Ma'mun said to this evil companion of his? He said to him, lengthen your fingernails. His companion lengthened his fingernail for a couple of weeks. Once they were long enough, Ma'mun said, I want you to stick it in that pomegranate juice. That juice was full of poison. His nails were filled with poison, and he stuck it in this pomegranate juice, which now was full of poison. And then he said, take your fingers out and go pour another glass of pomegranate juice for me. I will drink it with Imam al-Rida. Imam al-Rida will drink that pomegranate juice, that glass which is full of poison, and I will be drinking another one. When Imam al-Rida, our 8th Imam, when he took a sip of that pomegranate juice, he immediately felt the heat of the poison going into his body. Wa imama. Imam got up, and as he was about to leave, Ma'mun said to him, where are you going? Imam said, I am going to where you have sent me. You are the one who have poisoned me, and I am going to die. Do you know what the narration says? This narration really hurts. Every Imam of Ali Muhammad alayhim salam has one man in their mind when it comes to the time that they pass away. When Imam al-Rida reached to his home, he said to Abu Salt, remove all the carpets from my house. Remove the mattress from my house. I want to lay on the ground. The companion wondered. He's like, Ya Imam, you are currently in pain. There is poison in your body. You're enduring a lot of pain. It is better for you to lay on the mattress. Why do you want to lay on the ground? He said that for a moment I want to feel what Abu Abdullah al-Hussain felt when he laid on the burning ground on the 10th of Muharram with no one to cover his body. It is as if every Imam from the Imams of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, when they want to die on the ground to remember the martyrdom of Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. When the soul of our holy Imam departed this world, Imam al-Jawad salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi covered the body of the Imam. He said to Abu Salt, عظم الله أجرك في الرضا فقد مضى. May Allah greatly reward you, for a rida soul has departed. But I want to say to our beloved Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Rida, O Imam, your body was truly on the ground, but Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam came, he buried your body. However, Abu Abdullah al-Hussain, his body laid on the burning sands of Karbala under the scorching sun without anyone burying him for 3 days. Oh Imam, Imam al-Jawad entered your house in your final moments. You have hugged him. You have talked to him before you've passed away, before you have departed this world. But I want to ask, what was the situation of Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam when he saw the enemy shooting Abi Abdullah al-Hussein with their arrows. They were throwing stones at Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. They were stabbing him with their swords. They were cutting him into pieces. The limbs of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein were cut into pieces. Oh Imam, your head was on your body when you were buried. But tell me, where was the head of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein when he was buried after 3 days? Your head was connected to your body, but the head of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein was raised high up on the spears till it was delivered to the cursed Yazid in Sham. Tell me, brothers and sisters, what did Yazid do to the face of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein when it was presented to him in Sham? Didn't he hit the lips of Abi Abdullah with his stick? Didn't he spit on the face of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein? Didn't he declare his hate to Abi Abdullah al-Hussein when it was in Sham? Oh Imam, you are laying on the ground, but no one is stamping on your chest. However, Abu Abdullah's body, what happened to the chest of Abu Abdullah when he was laying on the ground? The horses of Bani Umayyah, they were stamping his body. They were running on his chest. Wa Imama, wa Hussaina. حصل غسل حصل كفن وتشيع بسايا ودوا القبره واندفن ما حصل مناع لكن حسين ما حصل شيله عن القاع ما حد حضر جثته وعن رمضه رفاع وقبر بطوسي لها من مصيبة توقد بي الأحشاء في الحرقات إلى الحشر حتى يبعث الله قائما يفرج عنا الهم والكربات إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل بيت رسول الله أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. ماتم يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين حسين يا حسين.
Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein. Ya Hussain, and Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain. अपने लहू में आप सवरने के दिल ना थे, अकबर जवां अभी तेरे मरने के दिल न थे। अपने लहू में आप सवरने के दिल न थे, अकबर जवां अभी तेरे मरने के दिल न थे, अकबर जवां भी तेरे मरने के दिल न थे, अकबर जवां भी तेरे, सब मिलके पढ़ें, दिल न थे, हाय अकबर भी तेरे के दिल न थे, अकबर जवां तेरे मरने के दिल न थे, अकबर जवां भी तेरे रुकता नहीं है सीने में जो खून है रवां, ऐ लाल ये बता दो कि किस जा लगी सना, अपनी रियाजतों का खजीना तो देख लूं, अकबर हटाओ हाथ मैं सीना तो देख लूं, अपने लहू में आ सवरने के दिल न थे, अकबर जवां भी तेरे थे, अकबर जवां भी तेरे, तुम क्या गिरे हो मक्तल में उठ ना सका हुसैन, तुमको सेना लगी है और जख्मी हुआ हुसैन, आंखें जो तुम चुराते हो दिल छोड़ते हैं हम, तुम हिचकियाँ जो लेते हो दम तोड़ते हैं हम, अपने लहू में आप सवरने के दिल न थे, अकबर जवां भी तेरे मरने के दिल न थे, हाय अकबर जवां मरने के दिल न थे, अकबर जवां भी तेरे मरने, औलाद पे जब आता है 18वां बरस, खुशियाँ समेट लाता है 18वां बरस, दूल्हा से आप लगते थे हर एक लिबास में, दिल माँ का शाद रहता था सहरे की आस में, अपने लहू में आप सवरने के दिल न थे, अकबर जवां भी तेरे मरने के दिल न थे, अकबर सब मिलके रहने के दिल न थे, कासिद खड़ा है पहलू में, है लाल देख लो। सुगरा दुआएं देती है, आमीन तो कहो। रखता हूँ खत को लाश पे, दिल बर जवाब दो। सुगरा सलाम कहती है, अकबर जवाब दो। अपने लहू में आग संवरने के दिल ना थे, अकबर जवां भी तेरे मरने के दिल न थे। है अकबर, सब मिल गए। हे मरने के दिल न थे, अकबर जवां न थे। ऐ शेर किबरिया मुझे कुव्वत अता करें, लाश जवां उठाने की हिम्मत अता करें। आँखों का नूर ले गई नूरे नजर की लाश, खैबर के दर से वजनी है मेरे पे सर की लाश। अपने लहू में आप संवरने के दिल ना थे, अकबर तेरे मरने के दिल न थे। हाय अकबर जवां भी तेरे मरने के दिल न थे। हाय अकबर जवां भी तेरे मरने के दिल न थे। या हुसैन या हुसैन मोहम्मद
على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا نبي الرحمة، يا نبينا محمد المصطفى. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب. السلام عليك يا سيدة نساء العالمين فاطمة الزهراء. السلام عليكم يا سيدي شباب أهل الجنة الحسن والحسين. السلام عليك يا مولاي السجاد. السلام عليكم يا أمة الهدى المعصومين من ذرية الحسن والحسين. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا صاحب العصر والزمان. الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك ومخرجك، وجعلنا الله من أنصارك وأعوانك والمستشهدين بين يديك. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد مأجورين إن شاء الله.